Hey everyone, it's Meg from Archivers. Have you checked out quilling yet? It's a really cool technique and I promise it doesn't take as long as it looks. So I've got a couple quick things to show you today. We're going to make a flower and some leaves and just go over the really basic techniques of quilling. So let's get started. Okay, so there's a few pieces you need to get started with quilling and I highly suggest the beginner quilling kit. It comes with, as it says here, instructions, the slatted tool and the needle tools, tweezers, a ruler, the quilling paper you need, and everything else. It's fabulous. So here are all my little tools. The other thing you need to have is the circle template board, and this is really great when you're making a lot of shapes because these are all the little spots you're going to be putting your quilled shapes in, like you can see with my yellow ones here. So to get started, you'll also have these great quilling kits, and they come in all sorts of different great patterns, designs, themes. So we're going to be using the flower sampler kit today. So the instructions start out with how to use your tools. Each book has this, which is really helpful as you start quilling. And then as you go through the book, it gives you directions to make specific projects. So these are a larger flower all the way down to these teeny little flowers and so on throughout the books. These are incredibly helpful with quilling and the directions are so easy to follow. You'll have no trouble at all. So I've gone ahead and I'm going to make a flower that needs an 8-inch strip of quilling paper, and there is a ruler guide at the top of your circle template board. So I just take a big strip, they come like this, don't know if you can see that whole thing, and I just measure it across the top and use my circles to snip it off. So I've already gone ahead and made 5 shapes just to show you those pieces, and here's my 8-inch strip of yellow. So all I'm going to do is pop it into my slotted tool, and that's really hard to see, I know, on this video. And all I'm going to do is spin it around, and I like to use my fingernail to kind of keep it in place. And you'll find your groove once you start quilling. I'm sure everybody kind of works a little differently, but it all turns out great. So I'm just spinning it all the way around, and then really carefully I'm going to pop it off the tool. Squish it a little bit, that's okay. And I'm going to stick it in the size 3 circle, and then it's going to spread out a little bit so that they all end up the same size. So just takes a minute. So all of these I've already glued, so they're all the same size. So now I'm going to make a flower that has a sort of teardrop shape. So that's this one right here. So all I need to do now, once they're glued, I'm going to just pinch the end. And that's really all quilling is you're twirling the paper and then you're going to pinch it to make a certain shape. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with all of these pieces. And the more you pinch, the more the pieces on the inside end up with shape. Just keep doing that all the way around my flower. The fun thing about flowers too is you can make them in any color you want, and there's great ideas in this book, but they really just tell you size 3 circles, you need 6 of them. Okay, so this was one I just quilled. So I'm going to go ahead and use my needle tool to add a little bit of glue to keep it together, and I like to use the Ultimate, but if you like quick dry or another type of glue, you can certainly use that. Alright, and then again, I'm just going to pinch it to create my flower. So there is that. Now this flower, another quilling shape, and this is so small, I know you probably can't see that, but this is just a 2-inch strip of brown quilling paper, and I've just rolled it into a tight circle. That's what they call it. So I'm just going to keep, wrapping this around. Don't know if you can see all of that. And I'm just going to keep it tight, and I'm going to actually glue it before I take it off the slotted tool. And that's going to keep it nice and together. So just hold it for a second and then pop it off. So I've got 3 of them, and those just stick together. They're so tiny to make the center of my flower, and I know that's really hard to see. And this just worked out while I was sitting there. So this is just a piece of quilling paper that I've just quilled the one end to kind of create a vine. And you can do this with whatever size you want. You can quill it as much as you want. So that's where you get to really play. So I'm going to make a leaf, and this is a size 5, so it's a smaller piece. Now to do the leaf, we pinched the flower petals on one side to create the teardrop. To make a leaf, I'm just going to pinch both sides together. Oops. And then if you want to kind of turn it a little bit, twist it to give it a little bend to look like a leaf, you can do that. And then you can just glue everything together and it'll stay. So another technique, I'm going to slide this out of the way, is to create an off-centered circle. So this is a 10-inch piece of red, and I'm just going to glue it. I made a size 2. That there. And then I just have a stick pin. You can use any pin you want. Mine just has a cute little heart on it. And I'm going to make an off-center petal. So I don't know if you can see that on your screen there. So what I like to do with this is I take my pin, and I'm hopefully doing this so you can see it, and I'm going to poke that into the center of my quilled shape. And then you can see the center kind of ends up on the one side. Then I'm going to take my needle tool again with my glue, and I'm just going to put a nice blob of glue on the end of that. And this is going to be the bottom of my shape, so you won't see that blob of glue hanging onto the bottom. And then I just hold it in place for a couple seconds so the glue can dry. And then take my pin out, if it'll let me. And I've got an off-centered shape. And then again, you can pinch it, you can shape it however you'd like to create a petal. So now you've seen how fun and easy quilling can be. We've got everything you need to start quilling in stores and on our online store, archiversannex.com. Be sure to check out the quilling kits because this is where all the fun happens. There are all sorts of themes, so these are just the booklets that go with each of them, and they again come with the paper and the instructions you need. So there's an Under the Sea. Be sure to look at this teeny little crab. He's the cutest thing in the world. A little boys and a little girls kit. Zoo animals, bugs, flowers, you name it. There are all sorts of themes and great products to go with it. So have fun quilling!